I got some good news for you from the SEC. Yeah, you heard me right. We're also going to talk about 532 million in losses, along with Binance faking the market, a little bit of manipulation.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And yes, you heard me right. More good news from the SEC. It looks like we're up from the lows of the day so far. But before we get into that, your comments come first. You, the viewer, matter most. Richard Deacon starts us off, says, dude, are those Pokemon cards in your background? More of a Magic the Gathering guy myself, but game respects game. It's not just Pokemon, but it's 1989 Cardus Mario, Super Mario Bros. 3 cards going for the complete set. I'm going to have my other channel linked at the end. That's right, my son and I are going for the grail. What else do I got for you? Joe Turner says, my only regret is not having more money to buy this dip. We might have some low prices here for the next couple days, and it might even get lower if CPI data sucks balls. And if Jerome Powell from the Fed is even more hawkish. G. Fox has bought more XRP, H-bar, XLM, and XDC. Some people got money to buy the dip. Michael McIntyre says, I realize now I need more gold. Ooh. All right, starting to see some segments of the market recovering. We're also seeing that BNB didn't go down as much. Very interesting to pay attention to it. Bitcoin sitting at 87,967, ETH 2486, XRP at 228 up from the lows. ADA hasn't regained that much, still under 70 cents at 67.6. Sol at 143, Doge at 20.9, and H-bar Hederacan today, bad timing, 19.5. Binance faces backlash amid alleged market manipulation details. Oh, Binance, come on now. The crypto community has spiked discussion citing allegations of market manipulation linking the Binance exchange and Wintermute. Uh-oh, a little bit of market maker poopy? Yeah. Their Solana balances show synchronized activity, suggesting the market maker was an alleged accomplice in dumping prices. Basically, you can see the inversion chart right here. It is clear as frickin' a day. Binance's SOL volume peaked at 1.7 million, then dropped to 500,000. Meanwhile, Wintermute's balance spiked from 1.2, then fell to 0.6. This suggests that 1 million SOL moved to crash the price from 300 to 150. The same was true for most altcoins, leading to over 110 billion being eliminated from the altcoin market. BNB suspicions. All right. The heat map revealed key liquidation levels between 640 and 660 before the price sharply dropped around 620. This sharp drop to 620 was key for BNB as it likely triggered many stop loss orders, suggesting possible support level. Conversely, failing to reclaim the 640 level could see BNB test even lower. And BNB, like, I get it. Some people won't touch it. I'm not a TRX fan. Will not touch TRX. Some people say the same thing about BNB. SEC acknowledges Grayscale's spot Cardano ETF filing. That's the good news, but that's not, like, the good news. It is good news, but not the good news today. New crypto ETF wave on the horizon. Yeah, now this doesn't mean that the SEC approved it. It just means they acknowledged the receipt of the filing. That is a crucial first step. The US SEC has officially acknowledged Grayscale's investment filing to list and trade spot Cardano ETF shares. Grayscale's trust assets will solely consist of ADA with its value pegged to the CoinDesk Cardano Price Index. Shares will be traded at an NYSE ARC, providing a regulated avenue for investors, and of course, what everyone allowing traditional money to get into crypto. Let's hope they buy from the exchanges. Alarming $500 million net loss, BitDeer's quarter 4 2024 financials. Oh, okay. Essentially this, all right? And I want you to think about crypto miners as a whole as I talk about them, okay? Results. Staring $500 million net loss. To put this into perspective, imagine going from a small puddle of 5 million, that was their previous year, to now 532 million in a year. That's massive losses. Holy crap. According to the reports, the primary culprit behind this financial hemorrhage is a significant drop in revenue. Okay, so miners aren't making as much. Why are they not making as much? Because when the halving happened, essentially, if you were to put it to like regular like working hours context, you'd be working 40 hours, not for a 40-hour paycheck, but for a 20-hour paycheck. That's what the halving did to these miners. So it's putting a lot of pressure on the miners to sell their BTC. It used to be when they were very profitable, and that's why you're starting to see them go for all these different like ASIC rigs and all the other, Bitmain rigs and all that kind of stuff, is they're trying to get more efficient, right? So they want to get rigs that now can make up for the loss of the halving, but the problem with that is then you're charged more for your electricity, and then your utility bills go up. So these miners before, when things were super profitable, they were able to stack that BTC. They didn't always have to sell it. But now as profitability is starting to go down, $500 million in losses in 1 year. They went from 5 million in losses to $500 million in a year. In the same quarter, that's up. So now that puts pressure on them to sell their BTC as soon as they mine it so they can pay their bills. Listen to this. Decline in own mining operations. We talked about that. Reduced hosting services. So if they're hosting mining equipment, hosting servers, clients, whatever, okay? Now that less people are getting into it because they're having, that means they make less on their hosting services. Cloud hash rate services under pressure. Okay, so basically what talking about here is you got the halving, plus increased mining difficulty, rising energy costs, regulatory uncertainty, and competition. This is putting a lot of pressure on BTC and especially the miners. This is going to be messy for strategy if things don't change. Good news for you. SEC dropped Uniswap investigation. Unitoken briefly does a little move. Uniswap CEO Hayden Adams claimed that TradeFi regulations are not applicable to the crypto space and that new ones are required. No shit. Been saying that for how fucking long? Now that another enforcement case has been dropped, pressure is building to create these friendlier regs. When the SEC sent a Wells notice to Uniswap last year, a story I brought to you. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out. At least hit the sub button. It's free. We're trying to get to 40,000 this month, and we're pretty close. They sent a Wells notice to him last year, and now the SEC guess what? We're going to drop the probe. We're not going to do any charges, nothing like that. This is what CEO Hayden Adams said. This is a huge win, not just for Uniswap, but for DeFi as a whole. I'm grateful that the new SEC leadership has taken a more constructive approach and slow-fucking approach. Sorry about that. And I look forward to working with Congress and regulators to help clear rules that actually make sense for DeFi. The best days for DeFi are ahead. So, that's good news, okay? All right. Exchanges are making a shitload of money. Look at the volume. Holy shit. We're still up to 220 billion. Overall, we're seeing things bounce up. You can see it clear as day. Bitcoin's having a little bit more issue, but some of the altcoins are definitely, it seems like they've hit their local bottom and are starting to work their way back. There were times where XRP was down about 10% today. So definitely clawing our way back. But we've lost a bunch of market cap. We're under the 3 trillion mark right now in market cap. In terms of the exchanges making money, here's the thing. You're seeing these exchanges make tons of money because the volume is nuts. So it doesn't matter if crypto's up or down. The exchanges are honestly the big winners of this. You thought the most evil, corrupt people out there were the crypto companies? No way. It's the exchanges. They make money whether you're buying, whether you're selling, and we're learning that maybe they're making money working with market makers and having it help them out. That's shady AF. But this is what happens when you have a space that doesn't have updated regs. It's the wild, wild west. So, good news from the SEC. One small, one a bit bigger. Bad news for BTC miners in BTC space. Binance, shady AF. Not as bad as Justin Sun. Close, not as bad. Softness in the market, but exchanges are making their money. And right now, we're waiting to see where the support is because we've seen in recent memory, Sunday Bloody Sunday, that prices were a lot lower than this. And that was while Bitcoin was higher. Now that Bitcoin's under that 90,000, there's definitely fear in the streets. And I am a legitimate Pokemon fan. And I'm a big fan of 1989 Carta Super Mario Bros. Cards. Seriously, super love this stuff. It was Super Mario Bros. 3 when that game came out. Loved it. But yeah, I got tons of Pokemon slabs there and then the case up there up on the top too. And big into that stuff. I'm bringing up the Pokemon cards not just because you brought it up in the beginning with your comments, but also sharing with you that there's kind of a lot of bubbles going on right now. People are worried about gold being in a bubble. They're worried about some of these collectibles here being in a bubble. We've already seen car prices pull back quite a bit. Even in the collector car market, the blue chips have kind of went through their bubble, right? And we saw what happened with the Roni Rona. So we are at different points with bubbles, but we're starting to see a few of them appear while the economic conditions aren't good. And that's the big fear, right? It's MicroStrategy is not making money as a company. And now their stock price is really starting to plummet. which means if they keep not making money as a company, well, guess what? They're going to have to sell their BTC. The miners aren't as profitable as they used to be. So now what does that mean? They got to sell their BTC faster instead of going in hodl mode. That's a lot of pressure on BTC, and this is the first time in like several months that we've seen BTC under this 90,000 mark, and you saw what it did to the rest of the market. But the exchanges are making money, and the exchanges are, Binance at least, are probably partly to blame on why we have some of these nasty events. You definitely need crypto regs, not just in the United States updated, but across the globe, around the globe, whatever you want to say. Flat earthers, go F yourself, hump a doorknob. We need them. There's bot algorithm bullshit. When you see everything all at once drop, you're like, come on. We're not all sitting on our phones within 1 second going, let's sell. No, come on. It's BS. We know the manipulation's there. And more of it's going to get exposed, but we need those new regs to catch up, so governments need to hurry up. That's not going to happen. Not being pessimistic, just governments are slow AF. But you know what's not slow? Our way to 40,000. We're getting there. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Trying to get there by the end of February. Only got 3 days left. What, everyone? Choo-choo bitches.